different location or something like that. And then there's promotions. Someone gets promoted to a higher position with more responsibility. And another source is present employees. They can recommend someone or someone internally. Some advantages of internal recruitment: it improves morale because employees can see that they can move higher in the company, they can help out the company. There's less error in this because you already know more about these people and more about how they work. Promotes loyalty. So some of the disadvantages of it are it limits new ideas, because when you're bringing new people into a company, it brings new ideas and new experiences. It may result in favoritism because you might promote someone who you already know and you're already friends with in the company, and seniority could play a part. Someone who's not as has the requirements for it could have more seniority and get picked for the job. So external recruiting, that's recruiting what most people do from outside the company, which goes in the job pool. You can be recruiting from different organizations or different advertising organizations. So some sources of external recruitment are advertisement. You can advertise online or from job sites like Indeed and stuff. Employment exchanges, schools, colleges, and universities, which we'll touch on later in the presentation, are very big in external recruitment. Recommendations from existing employees. So some advantages of external recruitment: the ability of suitable persons. You're going to pick someone who's perfect for the job, someone who fits every requirement, because you have a bigger pool of people to choose from. And it, other than like internal, it brings new ideas, brings new experiences, and so disadvantages of external recruitment are demoralization. People who are already in the company could think that they had the requirements for that job, but they weren't picked for it. Lack of cooperation. People who already work in the company might not get along with the new employee, and it's more expensive with the advertising and interviewing and all the process that goes with it. So I want to talk about how to recruit entry-level employees. So first, you want to start off by defining your job. So you want to decide what questions you're going to ask, like what the requirements are for the job, what you're trying to fulfill with this new person in the position. So you want to attract the right candidates. You want to show the benefits. You want to reach out to the right people and grab the right pool of people that you're looking for this job. So use assessment testing. This helps to filter out unqualified applicants, because when you're doing entry level and a lot of recruiting, there's a lot of bias when it comes to someone. You could like someone better, but they might not fulfill the exact requirements. So these testings eliminate the people automatically who don't fill those requirements. And so now we're talking about recruiting for hourly management positions. So for these positions, they're a step above entry level. So usually you want to recruit from within, because the people already know how the company works and the different employees, so they will be able to be a better leader and fit the job better. So recruiting middle management positions, they're on the next step up. You want to find the perfect fit for these positions. Normally someone more experienced. So normally you look for external recruiting. You want someone who can communicate with higher employment and lower employment. So you want to find someone who has a lot of experience in this. So next is define recruitment parameters. This is recruiting for executive level positions. So you want to define recruitment parameters and marketing strategy, who you're reaching out to, like the time period of this recruitment, and create a candidate pack. So you want to, what requirements, what you're looking for this job. And then you want to take briefings. So you want to talk to people who are already in the company who deal with this person or this position you're trying to fill already, and try to see what requirements you want for this position. And you want to, candidate attraction commences. You want to go out and find the right employee. Timely response management. You want to have a specific system in place so you can respond to these people in a good amount of time, so they don't lose interest. You want a good strategy how to sift through the applications and find the right candidate for the job. And then next you go into the actual interviews. First you start with the long list interviews. and psychometric testing. So you want to eliminate the people automatically who don't fill the basic requirements. So these are just to sift out the basic like experience questions, different things of that nature that are basic for the job. Then next you go to a final panel selection. This would be like a more condensed, like your top couple candidates, and they'll present ideas about how they can better the company. And after that, after you pick your candidate, pick who you want to, you extend your offer, provide feedback to unsuccessful candidates, because it's a good thing to do to those candidates. So relate to me. I've worked at entry-level positions before. I worked at a liquor store actually, and I was promoted from within. I worked like as a stocking shelf and stuff, was promoted to cashier. So it shows promoting someone who already is in the business, who knows stuff about the business, so you don't have to train someone else new for the spot. So next, Alex will talk about college recruitment.
I'm Alex, and I'll be talking to you about college recruitment, as Tyler said. So to start off, there are some best practices to college recruiting. Some of these practices include building, developing, managing, and maintaining relationships. With emphasis on maintaining, you want to focus on recruiting for the long term, not just the short term. So next is setting realistic recruiting goals. So before an interview or even selecting a candidate, you want to set these goals, know what you're going to interview for, know what kind of qualifications or skills you need from the candidate, so you can ask questions regarding those topics in the interview. Next is setting expectations for candidates prior to the interview, so kind of relating to the last slide. You want to know what you're looking for, you want to find the best candidates, and to do that you need to know your expectations and what kind of qualifications and skills candidates have before they come into the company. So next is choosing your target schools carefully. You want to base your schools off of the major, maybe specifically that you're looking for. So some firms look at Rowan for engineering students or business students such as us. You wouldn't want to go to schools such as Harvard for maybe engineering because they're more focused on law. You want to send the right people to campus as well. You want someone that's going to be a little younger and that can relate more to students. Recent hires are great because they're new to the job and they're almost in the same boat as you, so they can relate a lot and answer a lot of your questions that you have regarding the job. Next is communicating with students about the process. So you can use obviously social media, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all these things work. Also LinkedIn is huge, many of you know. There's a lot of job postings on LinkedIn that you can use. You can contact potential employers and also keep in touch with them after you've networked with them at an event. So you want to feed your full-time hiring with an internship program. This helps because it keeps the employer, the students familiar with your organization, and after their term is up as an intern, you can offer to hire them full-time. And this makes it easier because they're already familiar with the company. They know how the inner workings work in the company. Next is career fair. So obviously, Rowan has a career fair in the fall and the spring, 2 annually. And there's over 100 employers, but not just employers, grad schools, NGOs, government organizations that are looking to hire Rowan students. Next is Prop Jobs. So I'm sure many of you have used Prop Jobs already. It's an online recruiting site just based for Rowan students. So employers can post their job postings and only Rowan students can see them. So you're only competing against your fellow classmates for the job. You're not competing against everyone else looking for a job. Company visits are good because it gives students the opportunity to see how the inner workings of the company are and the day-to-day operations. I know last year I went to Nova Nordis with the HR, the Sherm Club, and visited Nova Nordis in Plainsboro, and that was really eye-opening for me because I got to see the inside of an organization. Next is to offer candidates the occasion to interact directly with recent hires, as I touched on before. It gives them a good insight about the company and about how the job works, and it gives them an opportunity to make a decision based off of someone else's experiences. Next is considering structuring shadowing opportunities. So shadowing is when you follow someone around at their job for a day or two. Companies like to do this because they can figure out if a candidate is right for the position. And it's good for the candidate as well because they can figure out if they like it or not, if they like the culture and the environment. So next is communicate a clear picture of potential paths. You want to offer the candidate potential paths in the company and let them know where they can end up in 5 to 10 years based on this position if they intend to follow this path. Some paths may be different. Some people like to veer off their path and do something different, which is fine. Something that may be obvious, but some companies don't realize is making sure your ethics in order. You don't want to scare away a potential candidate just because your company doesn't seem like they're doing the right thing or because their ethics aren't in order. So you want to make sure all that's squared away before you start bringing in potential candidates. Next is cultivate and communicate a cool factor. So I know Google is one of the best companies for having a cool workplace environment. Not that every company has to follow Google, but it doesn't hurt to try to implement some of those policies to attract younger and newer talent. Next is embrace technology. No student or recent graduate wants to work for a company that's stuck in the 20th century. So you want to keep your technology updated. You want to embrace the technology and show the potential candidate that that it's important to the company and that you're always looking to advance your technology in the company. This is also really important, working with the admissions office. You want to have a close-knit relationship with the admissions office because they can provide you useful information such as how many seniors are in a particular major or how many seniors are graduating on time or whatever. So that helps them distinguish students from each other. Giving class presentations is really important too because it gives employers the opportunity to engage with students face to face, and it's also important to network with the students after your presentations and make the presentations fun and exciting, not just a boring PowerPoint. Last is measure and analyze your results. You want to gather all the information that you've collected and all the data you've collected throughout your hiring process and make final decisions and look at your not only your retention rate, your offer to hire, and that's it. So next I will, relate to self. So I got my internship through the through Prop Jobs. It's called Next Level Grades. It's a developmental program for high school football players, and I got it through Prop Jobs, as I said, and I'm still working for them now. It's a great opportunity for me, and couldn't have got it without Prop Jobs. So that's it, and I'll be passing it on to Anthony.
How's everyone doing today? So yeah, my name's Anthony, and I'm going to be talking to you about social media recruitment. Alright, so as many of you might already know, social media recruitment basically is just posting available jobs on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. LinkedIn mostly is probably what it's most known for. But it's just basically puts the jobs out there, makes people aware, and even if they're not aware at the time. So why does it work? Everything's digital now, so in today's world, everyone's on social media, everyone's looking at, is on technology, is using technology to not only do things outside of work, but also to find jobs and kind of like expand what they really want to work on. So social media recruiting strategies, referrals. So referrals are big because at certain times, even though people may not be looking for jobs, certain jobs can reach out to people and kind of display what they have to offer. Hashtags, although that sounds kind of silly, hashtags can also be very useful for searching for specific things. So important social media platforms. 89% of recruiters are active on LinkedIn compared to the 39% of job seeking candidates. So LinkedIn is primarily the place where most people look for jobs. So using Facebook and Twitter is mostly as a referral process. So basically you refer people to specific jobs. The law of attraction, the best employers in social media posts attract the best candidates. So you want to make sure that your company has a good brand and that what you're posting on social media is attractive enough to the potential employees. Right, so cost effectiveness. It's very low in cost, so you really don't have to worry about that, but very high in return. Because it's free to create a social media account, and you just have to make sure that you keep it up, you maintain it, and it's attractive enough to the customer in order to, or not the customer, the potential employee. So access to passive candidates. So it gives companies access to people